Detroit is different here. Definitely with BuyDetroit's passport to procurement with the visionary of all of this. Keyra, how you doing today?
I'm doing wonderful, Khary. How are you?
Everything is cool, and thank you so much for having us in this mix. We're talking Detroit, we're talking small business, we're talking energy, and as so many people said, the motivation of it. So as Detroit small businesses have opportunities to reach out across the region, across the nation, and even internationally, what impact does that have on Detroit?
It has a lot of impact because those tax dollars still come back to the city of Detroit, which allows us to keep investing right back into them. So some of the tax dollars, what they don't know, that help fix our roads. That also helps fix some of the programmings that we are. It goes towards that, like workforce development programs. So it really, really helps reshape how Detroit is looked. And you know what? It also changes the viewpoint that Detroit has no talent.
Okay, and you spoke like about the Detroit world of Detroit world. Now let's go into the business world. What impact does that have on Detroit's business world? What changes and what new opportunities come? Because you've seen this happen as larger scale opportunities come for some small Detroit businesses.
So what happens is it helps change the trajectory, not only for their businesses, but also change the trajectory of their livelihood, meaning they're able to support their families much better. It's starting to open up where they can afford better school systems for their children, right? And they reinvest back in the city that typically invests into them. So you may have heard, like at the conference today, how Doug is totally giving back to the city in different kind of ways. You may have heard from Detroit Lab Drawer themselves as a small business owner that's still trying to scale, but the resources that they're able to bring and receive through their business, they're putting it back out here to support other individuals. So it's always about giving back and scaling while doing so.
All right, and Mr. Paul Jones, he actually coined a phrase, and I changed it around a little bit. And he was like, oh, man, they always talk about Detroit hustles harder. We may need to make it Detroit scales better. I'm going to name it hashtag Detroit scales up. Detroit scales up. So when we talk about scaling up, what have been some of the, I guess, barriers of entry that some of the small businesses have had that you saw in your position that led you to say, okay, let's clear the deck. Let's do something like this to happen so that these organizations will be not only wowed by what Detroit has to offer, but want more and more.
So there's issues with credit, the relationship piece. They don't have the relationships to be able to scale up. Then there's also systematic racism that's keeping them from being able to have that access. So what I've been able to do is leverage other relationships to be able to open up some of those doors for at least the conversations. And just like in business, you get a one yes and may get 20, 30 no's. But that one yes, you maximize it to its full capacity. And with being able to maximize it, it allows others to come in. And now you can recreate that ticket you were originally saying, I can do this for this. Like, no. Now I'm on a different scale. This is what I need from you now. So you'll begin to see the shift where you'll have a lot more buyers willing to work with our suppliers from a sense of having other entities that are not within the state wanting to now work with them. When they're starting to see that, that means it's going to create a gap of suppliers in those different sectors. But it's also going to make them get on their P's and Q's and figure out ways how to really support them by having contracting opportunities. So like in order to be able to scale that, the business development side, the opportunity side, you still have suppliers and business owners, entrepreneurs that does not have the capacity from a staffing standpoint. And so with trying to really attract those additional staff members, because, as we know, a lot of people don't want to work right now because of the pandemic. But what we've been finding is that you have people that do want to work. They just need the opportunity. Sometimes it may not necessarily be in the field that you want to work in. every opportunity may not be for you, but every opportunity is worth taking a look at, because you never know what that opportunity can lead you to. So when it comes to scaling, forget the barriers, the systematic racism, the not access to capital that many likes to say. It's not even just about the capital piece, because if you pay my invoices on time, meaning not 180 days later, I can be able to use that money and pay my employees. So change it from 180, 90, 60, 30 days to maybe 14 days. They do the work, they get paid, they're allowed to continue to keep their staff. So you'll see a lot of different barriers. It's not just, on the small business side, but it has to do with a lot on the buying entity side. I've seen it all, where businesses meet every requirement and they still don't get in.
And that's really the next question I have. So we talked about the impact it has on Detroit. What impact do small businesses have on these larger entities like governments or a large corporation or a large organization when they interact? And as I say, close to my heart is the Detroit small businesses. What impact do they have when they start engaging in doing business that way?
So I can tell you this. If we don't support small business, the economy cannot thrive or run. So the impact that small businesses has is a huge one, because in order for our economy to thrive, we have to have those small businesses. And as all of us know, small business owners pay more in taxes than these larger corporations. These larger corporations may get tax abatements for 20, 30, 40, 60 years, don't have to pay any taxes, when those tax-infused situation are put down on us as small business owner. And I'm saying us because I am a small business owner too. But all of that is typically impacted on the business from a financial standpoint with paying higher taxes. But what they did not anticipate, those higher tax dollars are definitely needed in order to keep changing our community, in order for us to continue to thrive. So because of that, and businesses now knowing that, they have to be able to get out here and make the government do what they say they're going to do. They have to leverage programs like a BuyDetroit. They have to leverage other programs that have whatever resources tied to it. And they're say, like some of these larger companies, I'm giving away $6 billion, I'm giving away $2 billion, $100 million to support businesses of color. Well, start looking into that to make sure that they are supporting them.
And definitely that only connects further outside of passport to procurement and the BuyDetroit program. What else would you like to see done to strengthen the relationship between small businesses in Detroit and larger corporate entities in and around Detroit?
So what I would like to see is that these larger corporations to stop having these preconceived notions that they don't have a product in which they need. You never know what capacity you can actually need the supplier's goods and or services. If you really are not looking to work with a supplier in the specific demographic, stop wasting their damn time. Because at the end of the day, all of us have families to feed, bills to pay. So I want them to be more authentic with what opportunities they actually have. I want them to be authentic about how they're really going to help our local businesses. But on the flip side, our small business owners, some of them need to take ownership. Not just ownership, but responsibility on the lack of responses that they do on time. Their professionalism with speaking with the buyer. Understand who you're talking to. If you don't understand their mission, you done already lost them. So making sure that they know if an entity that they think they want to work with is actually the right fit for them. So do your homework. Yeah, they may have the money to pay your invoices or whatever, but it may not be the right opportunity for you organically.
So in that organic fit, as you said, like on both sides, both can tighten up. And that's what passport to procurement really provides in that. What do you see next for this program? What's the vision? How do you see it going? And as the person like really driving this ship, what do you want to see? And I guess that goes into two parts. What do you want to see for the program? And then what type of relationships would you like to see developed moving forward?
So what I want for the program is to at least be able to help the small business owners that we're able to scale within the program have a bottom line of 60% more than what they're used to generating. The reason why I chose 60% is because if you use the formula of adding in the fact that life happens to us all, right? Adding in the fact that you're going to have to take non-traditional means in order to get to access to that different capital. So having them scale beyond looking at getting contracting opportunities within the city of Detroit. Stop waiting on foot traffic if you got storefronts. Making them really take a deeper look at understanding who their truly demographics, who they should be marketing towards, and really marketing in that, doing a strategic marketing play and getting those things. Prime example is Trip Wipes. That's why we had him do that whole inspirational speech. Life happens to us all, so you have to know how to pivot. That's why I say 60-40. Because when you have to be able to pivot, you're going to have to think of things that you didn't think that you can do or even imagine. And making sure, as long as you believe in yourself and have the ability to really drive what you want to see as far as an output and an input portion, continue to push forward. Some of us like to even do this program. I've had this program designed for 6 years. I have 26 small business program strategies built out right now that can support the small business community. But Keyra got a lot of no's. So I am no different sitting in the space, and I got all the connections. But it's the resource aspect, being able to tap into those resources, the right resources. And it's about building those strategic relationships. Relationships is key in order to be successful.
And you spoke to relationships being key, being ready. For that person, as we say, sitting on the couch right now, that small business owner that's ready to get in this game. Three things kept coming up in all these interviews: capacity, capability, and me and my business school term, the elasticity, meaning like, how do you know you're ready? And then I always added the other one of confidence in that.
Yeah.
So for that person that may receive that no, how do they keep moving to get to that yes? What would you say? What encouragement do you have?
So one thing that I encourage small business owners to really understand is that it's not personal. Sometimes it's not personal when doing business. So if you get that first no, understand this. Sometimes those contracts are already contracted out, but they will recycle again. So your job is to really understand two things. One, how do I acquire this? What is making them uniquely different from me where they are constantly able to get this contract? Then two, understanding where you can fill those gaps that they have. And when speaking to those gaps with those companies and understanding those gaps, knowing how to bring it in, knowing how not to give too much, but give just enough to drive them in. And once you drive them in, it is your job to hit the home run. Secondly, we keep talking about capacity. Capacity can mean many of things. It can mean from a financial standpoint, you don't have the capacity to hire enough staff, or you don't have enough staff, but you have the income, the revenue to be able to hire more staff and scale a little bit larger. Every business is not meant to scale, unfortunately. Every business does not want to scale. So if you're comfortable be comfortable with that decision of you being comfortable of not scaling. Stop utilizing resources or taking up spaces for those companies who wants to be able to scale and go further. Allow them to do what they want to do. So stop being a moocher is what I call it. Secondly, it is important for us to support our peers. So if you know Khary sells the shirts that I need to put BuyDetroit to market BuyDetroit on, why not buy from Khary? Start supporting each other. Stop thinking you are owed something, because you're not. Everything requires hard work, tenacity, drive, and being able to deliver. And understand Detroit may not be the market for you. That's why you have to understand what your demographics is, who's supporting your business. And that's where you start continue to market and do a lot of work to drive those additional dollars into. Secondly, I may have said a bunch of things, and I said secondly.
Hey, we with it. You in the mix. You giving, as we say formally, she's giving information. But Khary Frazier says she's giving you all the game. So hopefully you're taking your notes and you're getting ready and prepared. Just as a business owner myself, and Lord knows I've done things completely not the right way in business. So I can tell you what she's saying is very true. And another one of the interviews, if you watch it, spoke to that same thing. The times of the amount of people I've met, 5, 6, 7 years ago. Keyra, I met Keyra, I don't know, maybe
I was an executive assistant.
Yeah, maybe 2016, and now things are coming together. It may take 6 years, and she said as the timing just doesn't match up. And I know you're sitting thinking that, this person don't like me or whatever is going on or, whatever, I'm not going to get there. Because I know you're day to day in your business. You're looking at your bank account like, I need some money now. But it may take some time. If you can stay in the mix, you will get that opportunity if you stay persistent.
And it's not necessarily going to be always from your hometown. And it's also not going to be always from the people that look like you, the level of support. So you got to be able to, 1, respect one another. 2, partnerships is key. Relationships is definitely key. So be able to build those strategic relationships and know how to leverage them. I don't tell people, no, if you can't leverage a relationship, you don't use them. But that's how Keyra is. That's how Keyra operate. Every relationship Keyra has, it is to either align with some mission or some other thing that I'm trying to do. Every relationship. And the no you may get from an individual, know how to leverage other people's voices. Sometimes you don't have to always be the one delivering the message or delivering the product, but you can leverage somebody else who has that belief in you and can get someone else who they're connected to because of stature. They're going to now agree. So understanding how to play your role and leverage your hand. And then lastly, I'm going to say this. We have to stop really downing and not supporting one another. I mentioned this before and I'm going back to it. And the reason I'm saying this is because if we don't uplift each other, who else is?
That's all deep, and I want to say dearly, thank you so much for bringing this together. Nothing but ecstatic people. We cover different things, different events. Everyone's happy to be here because this is a real opportunity.
Yeah.
It's a lot of business things that we see happen, and I don't know how much business is being conducted there in and around our city, even in and around our nation. But this one was something that people are eager and looking for more. So Detroit is Different is definitely looking forward to what's next and being a part of it and seeing this grow and grow and grow till I walk in every store across the world and I see some Detroit products and I'm like, yeah.
Yes.
There we go, Detroit. There we go, Detroit.
Peace.